won the AFC South. Let's go, AFC South champs, Tennessee Titans.
Welcome to Upload Live post-game talkback. Tennessee Titans with a huge win. Yes, it's preseason. Yes, it's only week 2 of the preseason, but it's a win, and it's a domination of a win because the Tennessee Titans defense, yes, that's right, this backup squad, second, third string defense is really doing some stuff on that field. So shout out again to the Titans. Shout out again to these guys who have worked their butts off during training camp, trying to make this roster. It was a total team effort tonight. 58-yard field goal by Ficken. That was pretty cool. Both the quarterbacks found the end zone, so to speak. And yes, you know I'm going to say it because we're still celebrating right now. Who shined again tonight? Des Fitzpatrick? Oh, come on. Mason Kinsey did, of course. Led the team in receptions, led the team in yards, led the team in targets. And yeah, scored his first touchdown. Who'd he give that ball to? Yep, his mom. And she made TV. So shout out to Mason's mom. So thanks again for joining us. We're super pumped here. I got a little bit of a voice left. Cannot wait to get to your insight for this game. So for me personally, I'll kind of give you a little bit from my takes, but of course, this post-game talkback is designed for you. There is some really good news that I'm super pumped about. We finally figured out, after all these months of kind of introducing it to you, we finally figured out the phone system where we can actually have multiple people calling at the same time, and you won't get lost, and you won't have to redial, and you can stay on the line until you get on the show. And the best part about it is Mr. Producer can run it upstairs. He can run it downstairs. Heck, he can run it in someone else's home. And yes, at some point later on the show, if you would like to help out with Titan Upload Live, reach out to me and we could use you here for the show as well. So let's get into it. We got a lot of people in here, already 131. Don't forget to tighten up that like button. Definitely just helps the channel, helps us blossom here. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed if you like what you see. So let's get into this. Let's get into what you guys are saying. We got the Power Hour. Molden gets a game ball tonight. We'll definitely do game balls here later on. Rude Boy, Mason's mom. You can just shout out to the Kinsey family. I mean, there's been a lot of this family's been through a lot. You should have seen everything that happened to Mason last year. Whether he was trying out for the Titans, whether he was released from the Titans, then the same day he gets a call from Bill Belichick's New England Patriots, and then off to New England he goes to the practice squad. He's there for a while, gets released, and he gets called right back up. Boom, he has to fly to the airport, go back to New England. Keep in mind, last year was more of a challenge because of the whole sickness thing. So, they had to do certain things. They had to obviously, I would say, quarantine and do all those kind of things. So it wasn't like a traditional season. Just watching some of these highlights here for sure going on. Tighten up. Blue Crew says Titan Bay. Shout out to Titan Bay, by the way. Titan Tiger 1000. A win is a win. Nobody wants to lose. But it was the way that the Titans won. Let's go back early this week, okay? Because there's a lot of headlines debuting with this game that I think a lot of people wanted to talk about. And I know Mr. Titan, shout out to him, had me on earlier today, and that was the one thing we brought up, that, what was the storylines for this? And, there was some chippiness going on. Now, I get it. Both sides did not play a lot of starters. Let's just be honest. Let's call it for what it is. But the Titans did have some guys that will be playing a lot of snaps and will be the future that did play tonight. So we get into Caleb Farley. What did you like? What didn't you like? Again, it's his first game experience. Molden looked pretty good. Some of you already gave him a game ball. David Long Jr. showed up again tonight. We didn't see the Weaver effect like we did last week, but he still was making some plays. Shout out to Roberson. If you go back and watch that first quarter again tomorrow or whenever you want to go back and watch it, Roberson was kind of had the high motor. He just missed out on the opening play of getting a strip sack, and then he was continuously in the backfield. He wasn't able to make a play, so to speak, but you could tell that he was there. His presence was felt. I saw Tier Tart early on, but that defense, The offense kind of struggled. That offensive line, we'll get into that. Redun's got plowed over a few times. That backup offensive line, when Logan Woodside was out there before he got removed and then they brought in Barkley, they weren't doing anything. McNichols, I think, finished the game with like 5 carries for -9 yards. I mean, that thing was a train wreck from the start. Give the Titans credit, give the coaches credit, but mostly those players who continued to follow the script, and it paid off. That defense, electric tonight, and the Titans offense cashed in. Team Sergeant, we'll get into him too. It's pretty pumped to see him run the ball. Clayton Anderson, it was so hot in Tampa Bay. Shout out, we might have Michael Rossi joining us here at some point as well. He was at the game. So he was in the end zone when Mason Kinsey actually scored, like right in front of him. How many preseason weeks are there, Devin says? 3. So the Bears will have it next week live. Sorry we didn't do that today, but we will be live next week for the watch party if you want to join me for that. Titans Rossi he tweeted this out, so shout out again to Rossi. He did tweet out that he did meet the Kinseys. They're a great family. He backed that up. He saw that. Racy Mcmath. Again, we'll get into him, Hall, at some point, but Racy, was he under the weather tonight? Was he just not feeling right? Are the Titans trying to hide him like I've been predicting because they don't want any game tape on him? But he didn't play. Des Fitzpatrick played a little bit, caught a couple passes, did score that big touchdown there. It was a beautiful route. The defense definitely fell for it. They crashed in because the Titans were running the ball. But that shows you what's going to happen this year with Julio Jones and A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry and maybe even Josh Reynolds, right, when he's fully healthy. You keep pounding Derrick Henry. Everybody crashes in. Play action, just a little bit of a play action or a little bit of a fake can separate, and that's what happened with Dez. He was wide open. So shout out. Sin City, I believe, was there as well. Shout out to Sin City. Kinsey for number 1 wide receiver. Hey, I'm telling you, the guy's making his case. He doesn't have a lot of support in the national or local media. He is getting a few. Buck Rising's the latest one to join the party. We already mentioned TD's been on it from the start. Occasionally, you might get a little bit here or there from the Titans media. Corey Curtis seems to be following this family's journey, so shout out again to Corey Curtis. He was right on it when Mason went up and gave his mom the game ball. And later on, I think like a minute or two later after that happened, I was still in shock and jumping around and, seeing this all on TV. Went back and looked at Twitter, and yes, Corey Curtis had like a close-up of Mason's mom receiving the game ball. So shout out again to Corey Curtis. Before I get like too into this, I don't want to forget this, and it is something that's definitely on my mind, but I did want to bring up Floyd Reese because Floyd Reese, when the Titans moved from Houston to from the Titans moved from the Houston Oilers to the Tennessee Titans, Floyd Reese was a big part of that. I know Jeff Fisher was there, Bud Adams, but Floyd Reese really did a ton behind the scenes. Floyd Reese was football 24/7. He was a family guy as well, like I said, but he was a football guy through and through. He had to go in the very beginning and work his butt off and eventually get to where he was. And I know some of you didn't really care for him at the end of his Titans journey, but there was a lot of conflict between him, Bud Adams, and Jeff Fisher, and it seemed like Bud Adams was kind of playing both sides a little bit and may have given Jeff Fisher a little bit too much power in that situation. Remember, it was Floyd Reese who wanted Devin Hester. Fisher wanted somebody else, and Adams listened to Fisher. So, again, we want to just pay our respects here at Titan Upload. Prayers to the Reese family. We'll never forget you, man, and thanks for all that you did. All right, James Strickland says Farley was terrible. Molden was still a pro. Again, please be patient with Farley, okay? They had him playing off the ball a lot. They had him playing more in the backfield than anything, like 10, 12 yards off the ball. And I don't think it was by disguise. It's a preseason game. They're not trying to bait him already. But you could tell he did get burnt. Miller burned him. It's clear as day, Miller burned him. I mean, there's no other excuse. Luckily, Miller went out of bounds. But, yes, Farley got burnt. But Farley will learn from that. Farley will continue to improve. And just take this for what it's worth. You got Caleb Farley in a preseason number 2. Let's just kind of step back and think about that for a second. You got Caleb Farley to play in a preseason game in week number 2. I was not anticipating him playing to maybe just a little bit of the opening game against the Cardinals, and he was out there in week 2. So he's definitely progressing. He definitely bounced back in the practice with Tampa Bay. I mean, they were very physical this week. The first practice with Tampa Bay, the Titans started off really slow, finished super strong, dominated the Bucs. The second practice, complete opposite. Bucs totally dominate them. But remember, a lot of Titans did not play in that. Seriously, Milan didn't play. A.J. Brown didn't play. Derrick Henry didn't play in that. Julio Jones didn't play. So again, when you're looking at the Tennessee Titans going up against the Bucs in practice, again, Brady's throwing it all over the yard. The Titans didn't have all their arsenal. So I'm just saying, I'm not too worried about that. But this preseason game, I'm super thrilled with. Mr. Clean says Mcmath getting cut or practice team, or they're trying to hide him to throw him on the practice team. People don't want to think about this, and that's fine because some of you get on me. But if you really think about it, Jim Wyatt can say what he wants. Local media guys say what they want, but actions and how the game plays out does mean something. And what I mean by that is targets. Logan Woodside and Barkley have complete faith and trust in Mason Kinsey. Here's my point, and I'm just breaking down the stats. Mason Kinsey had 8 targets tonight, folks. 8 of them. The next closest Titan in targets, 2. There are a bunch of guys, but 2. Push comes to shove. These guys know he can do it, and he's been doing it in practice, and I've been telling you over and over and over, and you guys, yeah, whatever, upload, whatever. You're not even going to make the team upload, whatever. But that's my point. Why are they throwing him the ball? It's not even close. 8 targets to 2, that should speak volumes. And that also should speak volumes if Vrabel and John Robinson are giving him more of an opportunity. So, again, I didn't see a whole lot of Marcus Johnson. I don't even know if Marcus Johnson even got in the game. I didn't see a whole lot from Racing Mcmath. I don't even know if Racing Mcmath got in the game. Fred Brown got a lot of opportunities. He caught a pass, right? Cam Batson had a screen pass apparently that I missed. Des Fitzpatrick, a couple catches can go a long way with this, okay? That confidence builder, I'm not knocking him. I'm not saying he's an all-star, though, and just be careful because, tomorrow morning you might wake up and everybody's back on the Des Fitzpatrick train. We're going to need to see a little bit more from Des. Again, if you go back and look at his route, he did a nice little route there, kind of dug in and then took off toward, just kind of faded into the towards the end zone, and it was a beautiful pass. But remember, everybody crashed because the Titans were running the ball. So, if you're looking for those one-on-one moves and all that was just the defense overreacting to the fake. Dez doing what he's supposed to do and catching a touchdown. That should go a long way in his confidence. All right, let's see. Sin City Titans, shout out to the Kinseys. Good people. I think I had a super chat somewhere. I'm going to get to the super chat, or did I miss it? Sorry, I'm getting so many of your comments here. Thanks again for being here on Upload Live Post-Game Talk. Braden Ray, love the win. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I do extremely appreciate it. But yes, what a win it was. The Tennessee Titans getting it done. Another super chat. This from Bennett. Says, I'm back, Upload. You were right about Mason. I'm a fan now. Glad Des got a TD. I'm not saying thank you so much, Bennett, for the super chat. I'm not saying this is definitely like a lock by any means. I'm not saying that. The one thing I will say, and he impressed again tonight, he really did, Chester Rogers is really impressive, okay? I get it. He only played a limited amount of snaps in the first half. He did get majority of the punt returns. One of the kickoff returns, he took it to the house, but Weaver decided to double team on a block. You can't do that on kickoff. So that flag came out, but apparently, according to the people that were in the stadium, they said that play had nothing to do with the touchdown. He would have scored a touchdown anyways, even if Weaver didn't do that double team block. So that's just my point. It's good to see Chester Rogers. But I want to see some stuff from Marcus Johnson. I want to see some more stuff from Cam Batson. I want to see some stuff from Racey Mcmath. And I want to continue to see more from Des Fitzpatrick. Because if you're going to throw them on the roster, and you're going to give them a roster spot, and you're going to let 12 walk, I'm just sorry. I'm really, if Woodside, they're not Tannehill. That's a key. They're not Tannehill. But if Woodside and Matt Barkley trust Mason enough to give him 8 targets and no one else the most was 2, again, said it before, I'll say it again, that speaks volumes. Let's get to more of your comments. We should carry 7 wide receivers. Mcmath is the 4th tight end. A lot of you were saying thank you, Billy. A lot of you were saying Mcmath is a tight end number 4. Again, it's not as easy to move around. It's not, and like some people think they can do it, and it's fine. I mean, Tebow, they tried to get him to do it, and it's a little bit different. He's a quarterback. When you're moving receivers to tight end, there's just something different about it. I can't tell you what, but there is. I did like what Ferkser did in the beginning, too, by the way. He was able to catch a few targets right out of the gate. So, that was really, really good to see. But if you are good and you could be productive as a tight end, again, the Titans, Hudson, you would think, has a decent shot to make this team. You also got to think Swaim is a lock for this team, and Ferkser's a lock. Adding another guy who can just I don't know if Racy can block, but if he can just catch, I'm not sure that's what the Titans exactly need. Ferkser pretty much fits the category as a tight end pass catcher. So maybe if it's a backup situation, or maybe you do throw him on the practice squad to do that. But I'm not seeing the tight end like some of you, but it doesn't mean he can't. Vampiric says, I really want Sargent to be running back number 2. And again, I'll tell you up front, it's nothing against McNichols. I saw McNichols last year, and I thought he had a really good preseason the year before. But as far as last year goes, he just didn't do a whole lot for me. I shouldn't have been as excited about Evans, because if McNichols was doing really well, then if he's already doing well, another guy comes, whatever. But that is an interesting thing. Sargent gives me a little pop. Sargent gives me a little bit more, I think, as far as the physicality feature of it. And since you're taking Derrick Henry away, I still want to back up to, we already have Evans. Sargent just seems to be more physical. Can I just say that? And we already have Evans, of course, if he can stay healthy. So I'm not as sold on McNichols. And the Titans kept just throwing him out there today. They gave him every single opportunity. That offensive line was a train wreck. I'm not going to say, I don't think anybody could run behind that offensive line, but when Barkley came in, the Titans marched right down the field, and they were running all over. If you go back and look at the first run, I'll mention my guy again, Mason Kinsey with a down block. Boom, there goes Sargent for the big run. That was the Titans' first big run. If you don't believe me, go back and watch that. Go back and watch that when Sargent gets his first carry. Kinsey's on the receiver end. He's in the slot. He comes more in, blocks down, chips down, whatever he does, and boom, there goes Sargent. So Sargent did a ton on his own, by the way. Steven says McNichols is a chopping block. I think the time in their preseason games, but when is McNichols going to go out and prove himself, right? The Titans won 34-3 today. The defense was amazing. I'm just telling you from my standpoint, when I'm judging these games and I'm looking at what I'm seeing production-wise, I'm just not as thrilled or fired up with McNichols, okay? I don't know what he's doing behind the scenes, so I can't just tell you that what I saw the night goes, but it should mean something. Lake Show, Molden was all over the field from what I saw, and he was, and he had a big pop. His helmet flew off. He was excited to be out there. It was his first opportunity to be out there. He played more, I think, if you want to say pound for pound compared to Farley, but I'm not here to judge Farley and Molden. If they both play great, fine, okay? And I don't think it's fair that we put too much stock into Farley's performance tonight and feel anything negative about him, because honestly, he hasn't played since 2019. He's going to be a little cautious or careful when he's out there for right now. He's getting his feet wet. Time will come, but it's just so thankful, and we should be so thankful that Caleb Farley played in preseason game number 2. When he was drafted, some of us didn't know if he would. This guy did. But some of us didn't know if he'd even play at all this year, or he'd be, playing towards the end of the year. You already got him out there. So will he be a number 1 starter in week 1? We pretty much think no. But I'm telling you, by the midway point, that's the measuring stick. So by week 8, week 9, should he be starting? Yes. Should he be showing us a lot of signs and a lot of excitement at this time? Yes. So until we get to that point, I'm not going to, start in on the guy and say anything back. But Molden, you said, game ball already, let's go. I think you get yourself into a little bit of a trouble. Now, if you see the consistency part, I mean, here's the positive. The Tennessee Titans defense is creating so many turnovers or making so many big plays. I know they didn't have a ton of sacks tonight, but 3's pretty good for our team. The Titans aren't turning the ball over, knock on wood. That's a key in this, okay? So if you add up both games, 23 and 34 is what? 23, 34, was it 47? Am I wrong? Is it 57 to 3? I mean, or to 6. That's a big difference in preseason football with your backups. I tweeted this out. I was kidding, but I tweeted it out. Maybe the Titans should consider benching and letting them rest next week. Because you know what? We know exactly what we're getting in our backups at this point. And that's a really, really good thing. The only question mark on this Titans team now is, what about the starters? What about Julio Jones? How are they going to look? Do they need reps before week 1? That's all going to come into this week. You're going to hear about that everywhere. Should Tannehill play? Now, if you go to LA and look at the Rams, they don't play any starters ever in preseason. What do you want in week 3? You can definitely comment. So, again, game balls, you can let me know. We'll get into that. You could also let me know what your plan is for next week for the Bears game. It's the last rehearsal. We saw some good things from some good teams this week. I mean, Mitch Trubisky went out and balled out against the Bears. Fields took a shot. You know what I mean? He looked really good at times again, and then he took that massive shot to the head, and his helmet and headband came flying off. Like, you don't want that situation to happen to Ryan Tannehill. Tom Brady's playing next week. They said it on the Bucs broadcast tonight. The starters will play about a half for the Bucs. So do you want the Titans to play their starters for half? We saw Julio Jones running in pregame. That's a good thing. AJ did dress, and so did Bud Dupree. They didn't play, but they dressed. That's a cool thing. It seems like our offensive line did good. How much we score. It did at times, but that offensive line was getting blown up in the beginning, and it was very difficult. I don't know if it was just ruse. I thought Redunds in the beginning was making some key blocks, but then later on in that game, I mean, my goodness, you just get run over by Tryon. So I haven't seen our guy in here anymore, but our Tryon guy, draft guy, I mean, Tryon, I mean, he looks the part. He looks really good from Washington. Billy said, I would go AJ, Julio, Reynolds, Johnson, Rogers, Fitz, Kinsey, wide receiver, then Ferkser. Oh, so as far as making the team, is you're saying, Billy? Or because the one thing I'm getting kind of scared. I shouldn't say scared. Scared's a bad word. But I would say a little concerned is I've heard all sorts of great things on how Johnson's played as a wide receiver in practice. I've heard all sorts of great things. I hear all these local media people tell us day after day, guess who made another play today? Yep, it was Marcus Johnson. But there is something inside of me saying, okay, week 1 preseason, I don't remember him even being out there. Maybe he got a few snaps. I just don't remember. And then I don't remember him being out there today. And it's like, I don't know why. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe they think he's a starter now and they're not, but they played Reynolds, who's coming off an Achilles injury. So you would think there's got to be something there. That's the caution. That's the concern. Are you concerned about Marcus Johnson? Because you've heard all sorts of great things about him, right? We all have. Where's he been? Huh? Where's he been? So even Nick Westbrook-Ikhine got a catch tonight. A nice catch across the middle. Didn't see any targets to Reynolds. I think Reynolds is still going to fight through. I don't know. The question I have for you is Reynolds even going to be 100% in week 1? Should we expect him to be 100% in week 1? Let's get some more of your comments, Brad. The Chiefs play. Yep, Mahomes played a ton yesterday. Jacob the Wise, what do you think about the wide receivers and the wide receiver group? We'll be all over this all week. Who's trending up, who's trending down, but you got to like that Des Fitzpatrick got a touchdown. I mean, as far as your route level and how difficult that play was, I mean, honestly, like, he should have made that play, but he did, right? He made the play. He didn't, like, overlook it. He He ran a great route. He got a great pass, and he caught the ball. Like, it's not his fault that the defense just got sucked in for the run. That's exactly what you want out of our offense. Run, run, run. Everybody gets sucked in. Boom, beat him over the top. And he did a great job at that. And he was wide open on his first catch of the night. It's just getting him reps and getting him the ball and letting him catch him and see if his confidence can take him. The issue I have, though, is they waited very, very, very late to put him in the game. And you can see right away, Mcmath and Lipscomb, I don't even know if he's still on the team, and then Dez. I mean, those kind of seem to be your three bottom guys at this time. Even Fred Brown was out there more than Dez tonight. And I don't know about you, but like, I don't have any, I mean, I shouldn't say this is a bad thing, but I just don't see Fred Brown making this football team, right? I feel the same way you guys kept telling me about Mason Kinsey early on in this season. Like, upload, there's no way. And I'm seeing Fred Brown just taking rep after rep after rep. Cannot wait for the play sheet to come out on how much these guys played. Last week, it was Mcmath and Dez played 62 plays, everybody. 62! And they had one target between them. And I don't remember even seeing him on the field. So, again, when I look at the wide receiver, really good question. We'll see how this all fizzles out. All I'm asking you to take into perspective or take into is the amount of targets that Mason Kinsey is getting on both of these games. I mean, he was brought up in the press conference last week by Vrabel. They asked him about him. He said, well, quarterbacks go to who they can trust. Well, guess what? They trusted him again tonight. And let's be honest, that first catch, I know some people are like, oh, he should have caught that. He was being tackled. The ball was tipped. That's probably why they didn't call pass interference. The other one, that's a tough play for anybody to make. But even on his 6-yard catch, I mean, he had to go up and get it, and he brought it in. The touchdown catch. Touchdown was a nice catch, man. It was nice. So, again, when I see Kinsey, when I see Rodgers, like Rodgers, let's be honest. It doesn't matter what happens. Rodgers right now is winning the practice. And when he goes out there with the first teamers for the preseason, he's doing his job and he's doing it well. So Rodgers is clearly breaking apart. But my only question to you guys is, who of these wide receivers won't make the team? Like, I don't think Fred Brown's going to make it. Maybe some of you do. If you're the Fred Brown supporter, step up and tell me why you like Fred Brown. Quarterback situation looking positive. Kinsey looks great again. Sargent making. And again, you guys have been very good about bringing up the same people tonight. It's clear as day. Mason Kinsey, Sargent, McKee Sargent or whatever his name is. McKee Sargent from Iowa, right? You keep bringing him up. You guys brought up Molden. Molden had a great game tonight. You know, we bring him up. And again, I just think the defense played so well tonight. We should be so happy at this defense. Here we go. The Bucs fan in the house. Farley looked good in camp against the Bucs. Best of luck this year. And I appreciate Bucknut coming on here and saying that, because for those of us that didn't get a full glance at practice, Farley was able to rebound, and that's what you want to see. And I know he got burnt by Miller tonight, but you're going to want to see him rebound, and that's key. Just be thankful he's on the field. Josh Reynolds hasn't done anything, and to be honest, James, I'm not going to get on him because he's not healthy. It's clear as day he's not healthy. He's come out a week ago and said, hey, look, I messed up my Achilles. That's going to take time. So I like that they're at least including him. They're letting him to go out and get some reps, but he just doesn't have the elements that we're used to of what we've seen the last couple of years with the Rams. If you're saying he's fine and he is, then I don't know how productive he's going to be, because looking at him tonight, it seemed like it was very hard for him to separate. But that's why I brought it up. Is he going to be healthy by week 1? And at the way he's going and the rate he's going, I'm glad he's out there. Give him credit. Julio Jones, nowhere to be found. Josh Reynolds, at least trying to fight through it. I know they're totally different players, and one is going to be a Hall of Famer, and one's done that already. So you want to make sure he's ready to go week 1. I totally understand that. But Reynolds, man, coming off an Achilles, that's not something easy to do. That you can very easily re-injure that thing. So give Reynolds credit for at least trying to fight through it. But yeah, we got to definitely see more. Mahomes played more than a quarter, threw an interception. Andy Reid said he was trying to throw it away. Steven, man, the defense is going to be crazy. JJ looked good on the sideline. I think we're ready to beat down some people. Tighten up. Thank you so much, Steven, for the comments. Mark Lovin, Ficken and Molden game balls for me. So we're getting into some of our game balls. Score was 34-3. No starters for preseason with having any extra game. So I did ask you that. Thank you for answering that. Wickedness 006. Going into next week's preseason game, he brings up a great point. There's an extra game. So there's no, there's going to be no break until what? Week 13's our bye week, something like that. But I just say this, okay? It's going to be debated this week. What's the right way and the wrong way to do it? Just have trust that Vrabel knows what he's doing, believes in what he's doing, and no matter what happens, they just do what they think's best. Because some teams do it one way, some teams do it the other way. Rams, they won't play any starters. Bucs just won the Super Bowl. They got almost a 45-year-old quarterback out there, and they're going to play half the game next week. So the difference, there's a 2-week window, over 2 weeks. If you think about it, if we play on Saturday, we don't play again until September 12th. The Bucs got to play a little bit earlier on that Thursday night against the Cowboys. But again, when you're looking at it, a little bit different. I think cuts got to be in by the 31st or something like that. We'll know who makes this football team. I'm sure there's going to be some switching around. Maybe the Titans will pick somebody up. O.J. Howard, for example. Are the Bucs, they were getting into this in the broadcast, are they going to keep 3 or 4 tight ends? What's going on with O.J. Howard? Are they still going to, or did they believe in him or not? He dropped a couple passes early. Byard made one heck of a play. It was good to see Byard kind of back in action and make a nice play. So we'll see what happens there. Mason was on the field a ton tonight. We'll see how many reps he ended up getting totally. Brandon Smith, most pitiful 34-3 win in history. Loyal to Houston, Titan upload. Hey, Loyal to Houston, what's up? Shout out to you, man. I just want to give you a shout out personally. I know the rumor really wasn't a rumor, but what I've been told, okay, there were some people running their mouth about Titan upload in a certain YouTuber's channel. And Loyal to Houston, you said something positive about Titan Upload, man, and I do appreciate it. And I also want to give a shout-out to Titan Anderson. Yeah, we'll give a shout-out to Titan Anderson tonight. Titan Anderson said some very kind things also about Titan Upload. So I want to say thank you for that, Titan Anderson. I do appreciate that, and keep doing what you're doing, buddy. All right, moving on. Steven, did anyone else see Lawan wearing slippers on the sideline? No. I got the Buccaneers broadcast, and all I kept seeing was Tom Brady on the sideline. So that's what I got. I didn't get the Titans sideline. I just got Brady and the Bucs sideline. But honestly, it was interesting to watch what Brady was doing. Brady was pacing back and forth, grabbing clipboards, and couldn't tell if he was running the offense or Byron Leftwich, and they were bouncing back and forth. So who knows? Reynolds, short-term IR, put Kinsey in his spot. So, Kinsey does fit. If Kinsey and Rodgers fit a slot receiver, can you really play 2 slot receivers at the same time? I mean, that's going to be your question. Probably can't. So, with the Titans offense, if you're looking for someone to get first downs, if you're looking for someone that the quarterbacks apparently trust, having Kinsey on the roster and having Kinsey there wouldn't be a bad idea, I don't think, right? So, yeah, you're still going to go with Rodgers and keep riding the Rodgers wave. But knowing you got a very solid guy sitting there that you can put in at any time in any key package. I don't know if you kind of go back and rewatch this thing, but when Mason's in the slot, he's basically the only one that I saw. Maybe you saw somebody else, but they keep running this. They run the handoff to Sargent, but they fake to McKenzie. They fake to Kinsey on the screen. And they must have did that like 7 times. But I thought it was interesting because they kept doing that with Mason. They did it with Mason the entire game. So, again, I think there's packages. I think when you got a roster with 53 that you keep, you got to be very particular. You guys have mentioned you got to play special teams. You got to be able to do these other things. It kind of seems like they're not really giving Mason any more of a chance on punt return. He got 1 chance against the Falcons. So we'll kind of monitor that. But if I'm just speaking the truth here, if I'm a Cam Batson fan, which I'm a fan of Cam Batson, but if I'm he's my favorite player and all that, I would be kind of a little bit, I don't know how I'm feeling right now because it seems like Cam Batson is being overlooked at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was being played in the second half. I mean, if Cam Batson was on the team last year, Cam Batson played in a lot of good football games. Cam Batson came down with some pretty good catches, especially against the Browns, I remember. And he's playing in the third and fourth quarter. So maybe that's nothing, but maybe something to monitor what's going to happen with Cam. Williams says, besides Fred Brown, no Titans wide receiver will make it to the practice squad because another team will pick him up. And that's a really good point, too. And that's why I think they're really hiding Racey McMath. I do. The main thing I notice about the defense tonight is it does not look lost out there. Very good boy, Clayton, because I feel the same way. Again, Bowen took a lot of heat. He took a lot of heat, and maybe he deserved a lot of it last year. Bowen, Vrabel, who was in charge? Nobody wanted to. They were, that Spider-Man figure where both Spider-Mans are pointing the finger at each other. It was almost like that was our defense, except for there was a cloud, and the cloud was nobody was going to talk about it. We're just going to ignore it even existed. But it looks like they're giving Bowen more of an opportunity. Only thing that I'd be a little bit thinking here, preseason football is totally different from regular season. Preseason, the amount of schemes that goes into these is not as much as you think. So with both teams running vanilla offense and defense, I've noticed that, maybe I'm wrong, but I've noticed the Titans compared to our other preseason years, the Titans are blitzing a little bit more than I'm used to. I think it was 2 years ago, Pittsburgh Steelers came to Nissan Stadium for week 3 of the preseason. That was the Marcus Mariota, I think. He didn't look good in that game. But that was the year eventually where Ryan Tannehill takes over. But you remember that preseason game? The Steelers came after us. They were blitzing us from all over. They were treating it like a real game. We weren't prepared for that. Marcus almost got killed. The Titans, just saying. Was there a little of that tonight? I don't know. I don't think they blitzed as much, but we'll see. We got Titans Rossi calling in. I'll try to get him on the line if I can get my cursor to work. See what he thought of the game. And we'll kind of go from there. But we'll get some more of your comments. We got Carl, third down offense has got a little bit. Yeah, I would say he said it got a lot better. I think they did get better on the third down. I know, is it Tiki Barber or Rondé Barber? One of them, I think it was Rondé Barber, was kind of mocking us in the beginning of the show because he said our defense was a train wreck last year, which it was, and when they stopped us on third down. Titans Wheeze. So I bought the YouTube TV for the Titans game, and it tells me not available in your region. Here we go again. Hey, how about we got that dub? Marcus Mariota not playing right now. It's the third string guy. Hey, thanks, Titan Wheeze. For next week, I've tried to tell some of you, you just got to cancel it, but you can sign up for Game Pass and you get the free, okay? And you can't get it for very long. It's like a couple days, but then you would want to cancel it. But that you should have been able to get it from there. As far as the YouTube TV thing, I know exactly what you're talking about, Titans Wheeze, because I had the same thing happen to me last week, and I wasn't going to fall for it this week. So last week, it was supposed to be on my DirecTV, and it ended up being, it wasn't there, so I had to go watch it a different way, and tonight, I was like, we'll just go with the Game Pass. Defense has been more, they've been way more consistent, and I think for us, yes, they're backups, and yes, the starters played a little bit. It's good to see Byard and like Long Jr. making plays, and you guys mentioned Molden because he'll be playing more. But again, it's good to see. We didn't see that Weaver impression like we did last week. That's okay. We still got a little bit of pressure to quarterback. So let's bring in Titans Rossi. Let's see what he's got to say. Let's go ahead and switch it up here. We'll sign him to guest number 1. Put the 2 scenes on there. Boom, there he is. Titans Rossi, man. First of all, congratulations going to the game as I fix my... There we go. Congratulations going to the game, having a great time. Titans get that W. Tell us what it was like, man. What was it like sitting right in front of that Mason Kinsey touchdown, meeting the family, and just watching the Titans kick butt out there?
Oh, man, it was incredible, and I hope my video comes through good. I don't know how good this Wi-Fi is, but anyways, dude, it was amazing. Like, we were going to cut out a little early, and I was like, let's wait till this next drive, and it was perfect. It happened right in our end zone. We could see the Kinseys. We saw them give them the game ball, and it was so cool, man. And she wouldn't mind me telling this, but we met up with them before the game, and such nice people. They talked to us for a long time, and they're just so pumped about Mason. And, honestly, like, I don't support the guy just because I like him. The proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? Like, he is out there straight balling. I mean, he's had the most catches in every game. The dude is quick. He's skilled. He fights. He gets open. I mean, what other Chester Rogers doing okay? Some other receivers are doing okay. But to me, what other receiver is doing it like he's doing it this preseason? I don't want to go on forever about it. I know. But I'm just saying. Like, I saw him out there today on the field. I got to see him in person, and I watched a lot of players, like, focused in on him. I focused in on Farley, and he did okay, But to see these guys in person, focus in on him, to see what he's doing, the dude's balling out, man.
Yeah, I mean, again, you mentioned the wide receivers. That's the first 2 possessions. They went Ferkser twice. I don't think they threw to a wide receiver at all. That's when you had Reynolds out there. That's when you had Akina out there. And that's when you had Rodgers out there occasionally. Now, we do know the 3rd possession, I think it was, Akina got a pass. I think Rodgers might have got one as well. And then eventually they were able to move the ball down and score a touchdown. But, again, it was good, or get a field goal. It was good to see the Titans do really well, I think, and put up 34 points. But how was it being there and seeing that defense? Because a lot of the people in the comments are pumped about the defense. Is Michael Rossi excited about the defense?
Dude, I'm so pumped. And I was telling Sin City Titan on the way home, he rode with me there. I was telling him on the way home, I was like, there's just something different about, even though the backups are out there, there's something different about this preseason and this core of backups that we have. Like, they're just playing, the defense as a whole is playing with like a different sense of urgency. I don't know if that's the coaching. I would say it would be, or, maybe they have better players at the positions on defense, but they just seem to be playing with a new sense of urgency.
Yeah, and it's not just the urgency, right? I mean, urgency is a big deal, but it's the consistency too. I mean, it's not, hey, we're going to make a play here or there. That defense was a turnover machine tonight. I mean, seeing that play, I'm thinking of where you are in the end zone. That's kind of where our season tickets would be at Nissan Stadium. What did you think of the play where it was, I'm trying to think, was it Calhoun? Ends up picking that ball up and running it in for a touchdown. I mean, what was your initial thoughts on that play?
No, it was incredible, man. Like, the whole defense as a whole, they had 2 picks. Like I said, they were just getting after it. I mean, we went nuts when that play happened, and we were surrounded by Bucs fans. We were actually in the wrong end zone. You know what I mean? It was cool because we were in the end zone where the Titans players came out of the tunnel, but let me give a shout out to the Bucs fans because we didn't have any issues. They were, as far as what I know, it's preseason, obviously it's going to be a little different, but they were so nice to us. Everybody was so nice to us there, you know. So it was a nice stadium. It kind of reminds me of the Nissan Stadium, the way that it's shaped. The only real difference really is we were actually right next to the ship, the pirate ship. So it's very similar to Nissan Stadium.
Brandon says only worries offensive line depth. What did you think about the offensive line the first couple possessions when you were in the stadium? I mean, what was your initial reaction to that?
I mean, it was pretty rough, there was a lot of guys in there tonight too that I never heard of,
Yeah.
like I was seeing names like who's the guy? I know he's on defense, but March Lillard, all these different guys. But yeah, the offensive line was pretty rough. I mean, they put up 34 points, but a lot of that had to do with Barkley and Woodside.
Yeah, and like I said, the defense
and the
too.
receivers. Yeah,
Defense
exactly.
putting them in a position. I think they went forward on 4th and 1. The Titans, they tried to catch them off guard, stuffed them up the middle. That was impressive. I mean, again, they're backups. A lot of these guys aren't going to play, but you know who's going to play? Molden. How impressed were you with Molden?
Dude, super impressed. Like he's one of the guys that I focused in on. If you just watch him play, and dude, he's on his man. Like the dude is quick. He changes direction quick. Like he was covering his guy like all night long. I mean, he was really good.
Charles, what's up, man? Tighten up to you, buddy. It seems like we're all getting the party back together. This guy to my right, be my right, your left, whatever you want to say, has got his channel booming. Just had a show last night with No Flags Film and Titans and Truth. So you guys want to definitely go check that out. As they were previewing this game that unfolded today. But Michael Rossi, Titan Rossi, had his own little surprise today. He actually got to go to the Titans game, and that's kind of what we're talking about. So he was our guy on the ground who was there. So thanks so much for joining us. So to just give your initial reactions, and if you can stay a little bit longer, we'll get into some of these questions and we'll fire them your way, man.
Definitely, for sure.
Joseph says we haven't seen Racy Mcmath. What's up? Did you notice him out there? We were trying to get into this. Did you see 81?
I was asking Alex in City Titan. I was like, "Did you see Mcmath out there?" And he said he saw him he thought he saw him on a kickoff or something. Yeah, didn't see him much. I didn't notice him if he was out there.
Yeah, if you guys get the actual report, a lot of these guys will release the report on how many times these guys, the snap count. Just shoot me a message on here. At least I'll go find it for us as they're showing the Kinsey touchdown there. And then we'll figure it out because you can get a lot of understanding on how many times. Like, people don't realize this too. When you're trying to make a football team, you would think, okay, everybody has an equal opportunity to make the team. Everyone's going to have equal snaps. You'll just, some won't play in the first quarter, some play second, third, fourth. We don't know what we're going to get in some of these guys, so they'll play. That isn't true in football at all, especially right now. Like, if people are making plays in practice, they're going to play in the game. They're going to get an opportunity. Sure, if you're going to start, yeah, they might hold you out a little bit. For Rodgers' case, he's been killing it during practice. That's why he's probably only playing mostly the first quarter on offense and does punt returning for the most of the first half. But again, some of these other guys, Mason Kinsey, if they didn't believe in him, he wouldn't have been out there. Des Fitzpatrick, he got the touch. You were thrilled, man. I mean, I saw the tweet that people don't realize this too. We're not hoping he fails. Just because I don't have a good feeling about him doesn't mean I don't like him and I hope he fails. How excited were you to see Des Fitzpatrick get a touchdown?
I mean, I was super excited for him. Like you said, I mean, it was, it wasn't like he, the defense crashed in and went on the fake. But, still, I mean, he's out there. He made a play. I'm sure it helps his confidence a lot, And like you said, I mean, all these guys we wish goodwill on. We hope that they, do what they need to do and to the best of their ability. I mean, we're all Titans fans here. They're playing for us. They're trying out for us. So, I mean, we want them all to succeed. Obviously, it's going to make our team better, you
Yeah.
know? And Dez doing good is going to help us,
So the 58-yard field goal, was that towards you or was that the opposite way?
I think that was towards us. I have to confirm that with Sin City. It was kind of, being in the end zone, it's hard to tell like the depth sometimes. And I remember telling him like, man, that's like a 50-yarder. And he was like, no, that's a lot longer. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was towards us. But yeah, that was, I mean, Ficken is kicking, he's doing great. Like, I mean, Tucker McCann might be on his heels right now, like he's been hurt. Ficken's making the best of the opportunity.
He is.
And if you look at what he's doing, I would be cool with him being our kicker.
Yeah. And you could always try to sneak McCann on the practice squad again like you did last year, because I believe he would still be eligible for that. That's what I would do. Because if you go McCann and he's not ready, he's not 100%, he's still hurt with that foot, and I mean, the guy hit it, and you never know with the kicker.
Yeah.
Don't let Ficken go get claimed by another team. We just saw what happened to Sammy Boy. Sammy Boy got picked up by the Steelers, and they already released him. So you just never know. Teams are always playing musical chairs with kickers, and I don't want to be the team left out again. So if Ficken's kicking like you said, then, man, 58 yards, let's do it. I got a few. Z from the space, Mcmath. You guys were saying in Sin City Titan that and Skidley Bop. You guys are all saying that Mcmath was out there on special teams, and I find that interesting because now that you guys are confirming he's been out there a lot on special teams, is it that hard to give him a snap on offense? It has to. What's your initial feeling here? Because I feel that they're hiding him. And I feel that maybe he's the guy that they feel like they can sneak onto the practice team. And they don't want anybody to get any film on him, so they're not even going to play him. They'll just play him on special teams. What's your initial thoughts on Mcmath?
That might be true. I mean, my thoughts on him is that, I don't know. I mean, he's not really doing much. That's my thoughts. I mean, he was on special teams tonight, obviously. I mean, maybe that's like Sin City Titan said in the chat, that's what he did at LSU,
Mm-hmm.
You need guys like that, of course.
Thanks, Josh. Sorry.
But in the grand scope of all our wide receivers, I don't see him making it on the team at this point in time.
Yeah. And that's interesting, though,
my
because
take on it.
He looked, they were calling him the next Julio, or AJ did this, the next Julio Jones. The media blew him up from the gate, man. They blew him up. They said how great he was. And I believe it was here, quote me if I'm wrong, but I was saying, that's great, but he's beating the same guy every time. And that guy's no longer on this team. So that was my only caution part of this. You know what I'm saying? Every highlight of Racy was against this guy. And this guy, I completely forgot who he is because he somewhat got hurt and then they released him. So we'll see what happens. But if he's not getting any snaps, it's either going to be Rossi saying, hey, maybe he just he's not performing, or it's going to be because they're trying to hide him. It's got to be one or the other. I can't think of any other reason why he's not getting snaps. So it's going to be Titans Rossi's point of view, or it's going to be mine. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing plays out.
But why would they be trying to hide him? Like he's a 6th-round pick. He should be in there getting reps just like any other guy out there. I mean, the undrafted free agents are getting reps, so I don't know. I mean, We don't know.
We don't
I mean,
know.
we don't know. We're not there in camp and everything. We're not seeing these guys, you know, every day like coaches are. But that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah. No, I'm not trying to get into because
Yeah,
I
of course.
trust your opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's only two options here. There's either you go left or you go right. There's no middle ground option. And
Yep.
because here's the thing. If he didn't play special teams tonight, you could say, well, maybe he's hurt. But since he
Yeah.
was out there, you guys are saying the entire time on special teams, then he's not hurt. So that there has to be a reason why he's not getting any type of snaps. I mean, here's the thing, too. What's your Fred Brown? Like, there's nothing against Fred Brown. He's been around the league. But they gave him a lot of snaps tonight, too, 82. So I'm thinking, Racy Mcmath, we don't know anything about, and then we got Fred Brown. That's the thing. Like, if we don't know anything about Racy, he can't be just that bad in practice. So you would think that they would at least give him some opportunities. You know, they're giving Fred Brown every opportunity possible, and I don't think there's any way they keep him. So it'll be something to monitor. But no, I'm not saying your opinion is wrong by any means. I'm just saying it's got to be one or the other. Brad says people need to be prepared for good players to be let go, but that is a good thing. And I love his point of view, dude, because the Titans don't usually in this position with the depth, man. I mean, if you think about it, the Titans players who've been released in the past, nobody really picks many of them up. Now, occasionally, you know, the Colts will pick up a Zach Pascal or something. But yeah, how excited are you about the depth of this team, Rossi?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, you know, it seems like this preseason, there's just something different about the depth. Like I said, I don't know if it's the players. They're just better overall. The backups that J-Rob and Vrabel, the undrafted guys, you know, some of the drafted guys that they brought in. It just seems like we just have more depth this year, and they're just better at those across the board.
Ken Moore's in the house. He will be watching at midnight, so I know he's not going to stay long because he probably doesn't want us to spoil it for him. Obviously, I think he knows the Titans won because we were tweeting throughout. But shout out to Ken Moore again. And Ken, you know, let us know what you think when you watch the game. You guys said it's going to be on again on midnight. Anvil's, it's looking good as far as depth goes. That's what we're dealing here with because really none of the starters played on offense. And defensively, they played for such a short amount of time. Simmons didn't play either. Either did Jack Rabbit, for example. But I'm not sure what the Colts are doing at this point. But I know that some of the Colts quarterbacks struggled a little bit today. So if you got a take on that one, Anvil, let us know. Joseph says, I think Mason Kinsey's going to make the team. I'm getting a lot of those comments. I feel like people are getting, I don't know how to describe it, but they're starting to be able to see what we see, man. It's taken a while, but I think people are finally starting to come on board with the Mason Kinsey train. You feeling the same way?
Definitely. And I mean, it's hopped on the train after you know. You talked about him a lot last season. Obviously, you had him on the show.
Uh-oh.
But you know where I hopped on that? There was one video that they posted from training camp where it was just basically a ladder drill that he was doing. And his footwork is incredible, you know?
Yep.
And I know it's just like a little video and this and that, not a big deal. But when I saw his footwork compared to the other receivers, I mean, I was like, dude, this guy has something, you know? And he's proved it in the games. I mean, what more do you want? I mean, the guy is killing it in these preseason games. Like, he's getting all the targets. They're relying on him for first downs, and he played quite a bit tonight. You know, I was super impressed by him.
So on that take, we'll flip it around to Redunds. A lot of comments on Redunds. A lot of not so good comments on Redunds. A lot of people even go into the thought of, oh my gosh, we totally overdrafted this guy. Are you out on Reduns at this point, or do you still think it's like a work in progress and, it's going to take him a little bit of time? I got a comment, but I want to hear your comment first.
I'm not out on Reduns. I think you drafted him second round, so you got to give him a shot. I think them moving him around and putting him at guard and this and that, like I wish they would have just gave him a shot at tackle to see what he could do. Now, you can make a case and say, oh, well, he's not really playing guard well enough at all, and that's maybe a more simpler position. So, I don't know. I mean, I think we should give the guy another shot.
Yeah, I'm going to bring up some things, and just to put them in context. I think context is very important when you're having discussions on what's happened in the past and all those other things. The first guy I'm going to bring up is Nate Davis, because I feel like when Nate Davis was drafted from Charlotte, a lot of people didn't want to give him much of a chance because of the college he came from. And at that point, we didn't have a right guard other than Jameel Douglas. And we know how that worked out in week 3 against Jacksonville. But Nate Davis got hurt. And when Nate Davis got hurt, it just seemed like it took him a while to gel. Right now, I think Nate Davis I'm just calling it. I think Nate Davis will go to the Pro Bowl this year. And I think he's one of our most underrated Titans on the offensive side. Then you go and look at what happened last year. The Tennessee Titans had a 5-0 start. Lewan, he was playing out of his mind. The offensive line was doing some things. But do you remember before we got to that point and before we went on these runs, there was a guy who was playing left guard. Lewan was suspended for 4 games. And there was a left guard on this Titans team, Titans Rossi, who was one of the worst free agent signings in Titans history. And do we know who that left guard was? Roger Saffold. And look at how much he has taken back and got back to where his greatness was with the Rams. And he's a huge part. And he has the same rating, by the way, in Madden as Lewan. But here's my overall point. The point is this. It takes time to gel, whether you're a savvy vet like Roger Saffold or if you're a rookie coming from the college that he came from in North Dakota State. It's going to take time. And he's not even playing the same position. He's playing right guard. He started tonight. Then he moves to right tackle. Sure, they'll play him at left tackle. So if you think of it from that point of view, don't jump off the Reduns train just yet. We could be like the Bears, where our right tackle, I should say, Tevin Jenkins, has back surgery, and he's pretty much out for the year. So, and we already know about Isaiah Wilson, so we won't bring him up again. But I'm feeling confident on Reduns. I think I'm a little bit more confident in some of the people in this room, but you know what? That's why we're here. Share your thoughts. Let us know. Any other comments, Rossi? If you had to give some game balls out tonight, who would you give game balls to, man?
Yeah, obviously on offense, I got to go with Mason Kinsey. And on defense, to me, it was I know this is like maybe a cop-out, but to me, I give it a team effort, man. I think all those guys, a lot of them stepped up. Just from my point of view, watching Elijah Molden was like a real treat, and I know he might not have showed up in the stats a lot. I haven't really looked at the stats in detail. I would almost give him the game ball, man, just because, like I said, I would be interested to see what his Pro Football Focus score is or whatever, see what his grade is, because I felt like he had an incredible game. Obviously there were players that made plays, interceptions, things like that. One player who didn't show up tonight that showed up big time last week on defense? Wyatt Ray.
Oh, come on, man.
Where was Wyatt Ray?
Where was Wyatt Ray? Now you got me fired up.
He had 7 tackles last game.
Yeah.
A sack and a half. I think he might have had an assist tonight, but didn't see. I saw him out there because he's got I don't know if on his jersey, he's kind of like his numbers look different than everybody else's. Like he's got this big giant 5 and 7, so like he's easy to see. I know it's weird, but like I don't know, where was Ray tonight? Our
Yeah.
boy was killing it last week.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. You're not going to get that in a lot of places. You get it here from Titans Rossi, so make sure you should go subscribe to him and follow him on YouTube and follow him on Twitter at Titans Rossi. But, man, yeah, where was Wyatt Ray? Now, here's one. We heard last week how great Weaver was. Weaver this, Weaver that, Weaver this. And let's be honest, Weaver looked great last week. It was awesome to see. And I kind of penciled him in as my number 3 pass rusher, just behind, Landry and Bud Dupree. Tonight, we saw a sack from Simon. Another decent showing from Simon, the guy we got from New England. Seems like he'll make this roster. Seems to be like a Vrabel out there. But with Weaver, I know he got the penalty. He was in some key positions. I know on the fumble, the strip sack fumble thing from the quarterback. I forget who was the one that strip sacked him. I can't remember. My mind's gone blank now. I'm looking at my chart. But somebody got in there and strip sacked the quarterback, and it was Weaver that was like, he would have been the next guy in line. He definitely was well played there, but I just didn't see him as much as I thought I saw him last week in the backfield. So did you see him any more than I did out there, or am I wrong on Weaver?
I saw Weaver out there. Actually, Weaver played a lot tonight. And I don't know. I mean, he seemed like, to me, like, I didn't think he did as bad as like some people thought. The one thing about Weaver is he's pretty quick and he flies around, like he gets around the field pretty good. And I did notice that. He just seemed out of place a lot tonight. Like, I don't know if that was mental errors or what it was, or the play calling or what, but he seemed a little out of place tonight. But I will say he does fly around the field pretty good. Like he's an athletic guy. Like seeing him in person, especially like near our end zone, like he's a big dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a knock on him. I'm just saying for how much he blew up last week. I noticed him out there. He finished the game with 1 tackle. I mean, one for the amount of he runs around. But again, I'm not concerned by any means. The other person we got to give credit to, Elijah Molden, which you did, 8 tackles, 1 sack, 2 for loss, by the way. This Chris Jones guy came up out of nowhere. I don't know if you saw this one, but it's a quick pass from the Bucs. Chris Jones comes out of nowhere at that corner spot and just stops the play instantly. I noticed that. He ended up having 4 tackles. We already mentioned Calhoun with a couple big plays. Simon with a sack. I think Simon was the one I was talking about. It was nice to see Monte Rice out there after him supposedly being carted out of practice.
Yeah, I saw him out there, and I don't really know how he did. I don't know if he played a whole lot. But yeah, I mean, Weaver's an interesting player. I think he's got a ton of potential, but I think he's like, I don't know. It's like with Mcmath, like I'm not saying that Weaver's as much of a project type of player as Mcmath is, but I think it's just going to take a little time, but potentially he could be, Did
we lose you?
David Long.
Oh,
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got me. But David Long is somebody I'm really impressed with. Like, that dude just continues to make plays.
Lego my ego says, I feel good, no big deal. It's a game we're just for the Bucs fans, I did not get on here tonight to come and gloat and rant and rave about the Tennessee Titans winning 34-3. I didn't do that last week when we beat the Falcons 23-3. But from a Titans perspective on our backups and how they're playing, some will eventually be starters, but for the most part, these second team guys, I thought the Titans played pretty well tonight. And I'm very optimistic now that this team's finally got depth. This isn't a knock on the Bucs. I know that Tom Brady didn't play tonight. Mike Evans didn't play. Godwin didn't play. I understand your defense didn't play starting-wise. But I'm just talking about the Titans in general with their second and third teamers because I thought they played one heck of a game, and I think Vrabel should be super thrilled. Rossi, you got any final words as we get out of here, man? Next week's the Bears, so we're going to get the bear down a little bit. But, I mean, you just got done at the game. Definitely, it seemed like it was a lot of fun, man. But what are you going to take away from tonight?
Dude, it was a great game, and seeing that Kinsey touchdown in the end zone made it all worth it for me personally. The 4-hour drive, all that goes into doing this, and it was my first away game, for the Titans, and it was my first game in a long time that I've been to. So it was super exciting for me, even though it was preseason. It was amazing. They beat them up pretty good. I mean, there was a guy that when we were walking out said, "Man, I hope our starters don't ever go out because our backups are horrible." Talking about the Bucs,
Yeah.
And but like I said, the fans were great there. And there wasn't like a lot of Titans fans. You saw them every now and then, and so it was very cool. But yeah, I mean, thanks for having me on. It was a blast tonight. Follow me on YouTube and Twitter. Much love, Joe, man. You do a great job, and I truly appreciate all the support that you've given me too. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, you guys are missing out if you're not following Titans Rossi. But man, I know that you're probably tired, you're exhausted, long day, but
I'm whooped.
Get some sleep and just enjoy the night because guess what? Tennessee Titans are 2-0 in preseason. Total domination, by the way. But no, what a day you had. What a day. Take care, buddy. Tighten up. See you, Rossi.
Tighten up, man. See you guys.
So that's Titans Rossi joining us today from Tampa Bay in the hotel. Titans win 34-3. I'll stay on for a few more minutes with you guys. Charles says, who do you think we would cut right now? We will do a so to speak, roster release before the roster gets released. Look for that to be next Sunday after the Bears game. We'll run it down. I'll use my Madden game, and we'll plug the latest Tennessee Titans roster in Madden. We'll have to basically cut down 20 players. We'll cut them down. We'll give you the 53. But at this point in time, there are going to be some key battles. And I think the wide receiver position is definitely one that's going to top the list. And you may say it's not that significant. It's not that important because if Julio Jones and A.J. Brown go out and ball out, it doesn't really matter what else happens. But at the same time, like I said, this is a very interesting spot. How many Titan receivers do we keep? I think it's 6. I do think it's 6. Now, some have said 7, but I think under Vrabel, it's traditionally 6. So we'll see what happens with that. And then the backup quarterback position is getting a little bit tighter, guys. I know that Barkley outperformed Logan Woodside today based on numbers. I know that Logan Woodside didn't do a whole lot his first couple possessions, but Barkley, I think, has definitely closed the gap a little bit, and it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens against the Bears. The other thing we should take from this is what's your plan for against the Bears next Saturday night in Chicago, or I should say in Tennessee, first home open preseason game, in Nashville next week. Do you play Ryan Tannehill any amount of time? Do you play Derrick Henry any amount of time? Do you try to trot out A.J. Brown or, heck, even Julio Jones for a play or two? I don't have the answer to it. I don't know. I just told you earlier in the show, hopefully Vrabel and John Robinson, whatever decision they decide, they trust their decision and they go with it. They don't teeter-totter back and forth. We've seen some teams be extremely successful playing their backups, and we've seen other teams be completely successful by playing their starters majority of that last game, or I shouldn't say last game, it's the third preseason game, but now there are only 3 preseason games. So I think, again, you either go the Rams approach, you don't play anybody, starter-wise, or you do it what the Bucs are going to do next week and play their starters half the game. We'll see what happens. I think the Steelers are going to do it the same way. Trubisky had a TD against his old team tonight. Trubisky looked really good, had 200 and some yards, a touchdown. They dominated the Bills' offense, second-team offense. Just like we're talking about our defense, the Bills' offense, watching that game earlier today, the Bills' offense looked really, really, really good on their second teams. I mean, the quarterbacks, like I said, trust him. 8 targets tonight. Led the team in targets. The next closest target, 2. So, again, led the team in receptions, led the team in yards again, just like last week he did. He's put together back-to-back performances. I haven't even been on Twitter as of after the game to see what people are saying, what people are commenting. If he was mentioned again in the press conference like last week, be interesting. But does he make the team? I'm going to go ahead and say yes right now. I think week 3 preseason, he's got to keep bringing it. But, man, he played really, really good, and he played really, really good last week. He's got to keep doing practice and well. We'll see what happens. But he's making it hard on him. He is making it hard on him. But one thing I would tell you, though, is if the Titans did release him and they're like, hey, we'll move on, I think he'd get claimed. I think he's going to get claimed by another team. Okay? It might even be Arthur Smith, but I think he'll get claimed. Life of Devontae, what's going on? Boost, Bills can survive 3-4 weeks with Allen down with Trubisky. And I'm feeling like the Titans, with our backup situation, who gives you, I know this is for another show, but who gives you a more realistic chance to go out and win? Is it Logan Woodside at this point if something happened to Tannehill, or is it Barkley? And honestly, if I'm completely honest with you, I don't know if I'm going to make some of you mad. I honestly think, even though I'm saying still Logan Woodside probably makes the team, but I probably feel a little bit more comfortable because he's done it before in Barkley. And I know he's not been that successful, but just kind of how things went tonight, I'm kind of liking Barkley a little bit. We'll see what happens. Man, we lost by 30. Kyle, it's not a big deal. It's preseason. It's just not. I mean, Dom, what's going on? Good to see you. Preseason is preseason. Now, there was some silly mistakes. 38 on your team, on the Bucs, was across from Kinsey, and he was literally right up to Kinsey. The problem was Kinsey wasn't on the line of scrimmage, so this guy was completely offsides. You don't see that a lot, but that's preseason football. You know, these guys go out there, they give it their all, and we're talking in the post-game talk back about somebody being offsides. You see my point? So it's one thing after they're showing the Simon strip sack there, and there was Weaver. Weaver was right on there, but Simon with a big sack. Where's Caleb Farley? Farley did play. Farley got burnt. It didn't count because Miller stepped out of bounds, but it's just good to have Farley back. And I've made that point tonight. Hopefully you've heard it loud and clear. I've said it 1,000 times. It's just good to have Farley back and have him back already in week 2 and playing in preseason games. Upload is the next Mike Keith. Hopefully Mike Keith does an amazing job, but I'll tell you what, I get super pumped on those watch parties, and I can't wait to continue to do those watch parties with you all. Next week, we'll do one against the Bears. I do apologize for not getting one in tonight. You probably would have seen me physically lose it, though, when Kinsey catches that touchdown, because I was going crazy upstairs, jumping up and down. Sad part is my son was down here playing Fortnite. He missed it. So, darn it. But he'll see it on the replay, I'm sure, many, many, many times. Charles, thanks for your comments tonight, man. I was putting them on the screen. Says Titans have a lot of good players this year. We have depth overall. I think that's definitely a key. Dom said, I ordered my Julio jersey and my daughter a Brown jersey. Nice. Very cool. Vrabel will have a hard time setting this roster. Hopefully he involves John Robinson. Hopefully he really, I mean, I know he will, but man, that would be nice to be a fly in the wall in that conversation, wouldn't it? It's funny, before we got Julio, everyone worried about wide receivers, and now we got too many good wide receivers, and we're going to lose a few. Yeah, we're going to lose a few, because ultimately, we'll get into this later, but ultimately, if you keep 6, you got Reynolds, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, and now Rodgers as official locks. So there's 4. The media has built up Marcus Johnson so much in this preseason, even though he hasn't performed and caught a ball or even been targeted yet, I don't think in preseason football games so far. I don't even know if he played today. But you have him sitting there, right? So by all accounts, if they love him as much as we've been hearing, he's kind of 5. That leads us with everybody else for one spot if they're only keeping 6. Fitzpatrick, Mcmath, Fred Brown, Mason Kinsey, Lipscomb guy, I think, from Vanderbilt. Cam Batson, did I mention him? I mean, there's a lot of good wide receivers in that group, and there's a lot of unproven wide receivers, and there's some receivers with a little bit of investment like the Des Fitzpatrick with the 2 draft picks to get traded up to get them in the 4th round. What do you do if you're only keeping 1? So that's the challenge for you to figure it out, because I don't have an answer to it, but I know it's going to be very difficult for Vrabel to sit there and look Mason Kinsey in the eye and say, hey, leading receiver on both nights, guy who's worked his butt off, who comes up with great grabs, is contestantly being, like, these aren't this Mason's wide open and they're throwing him the ball and he catches it and he runs. Like, he's got somebody draped on him almost every time he catches that football, and they're quick. They're quick routes. Even today, Logan Woodside, on a 3rd and 5, Mason Kinsey goes in and then breaks out right away. Woodside would have hit him, would have been a first down. Woodside looked that way, then looked the other way, and by then it was too late. He got sacked. So, but at that point, Mason Kinsey had like 6 targets or something like that. You know what I mean? And he ended up with 8. You know, at some point, you got to ask yourself, are these guys just going to throw to Mason Kinsey every stinking time? But that should tell you something about Kinsey. So if anybody's going to hate on Kinsey tonight, that's my argument to you. Why they throw him the ball every time? Seriously. Why they throw him the ball? If this guy's not making the roster, and you're so sure of it, Jim Wyatt, and you're so sure of it, John Rex Road, then why are they targeting him 8 times? Let me know. Leave a comment. All right. Seneca, what's going on? Tighten up. Kinsey, like it. Like it. Only because you know it's true, right? I know. I get the joke. I can take a joke. Even though comedy nights on Tuesday nights. Cody, Barkley, the best backup. Billy Volek. Nice. I like the Billy Volek reference. Sargent looked good. We were all over him earlier, Comic God, so we talked about him, and I was very, very impressed with him. Like I said, don't forget to tighten up that like button. I know I haven't said that since we started the show, but, you know, we get carried away. If you could subscribe, that'd be great. If you like what you get, if you don't, that's okay. It is what it is. But like I said, don't forget to tighten up that like button, because it definitely helps the channel. We're at 131 right now, 226 in the house. I'll go a little longer because you guys are here. I haven't been on all week. First week back at work. Next week, we got the Bears game, so super pumped. That's my family. We got battle lines drawn here. It's our civil war in the family. Half the family's Titan fans, half the family's Bear fans. Let's go. J-Boy was representing the boys today. Raymond James. Nice. So Jay Boykin in the house was there. Tell us how your experience was, man. We'd love to hear from you. Chill Mode, I was happy for Dez. I think a lot of us were happy. Thank you, Chill Mode, for subscribing. I think a lot of us were happy. Titans Rossi is like, he's very, very pro Mason Kinsey. I mean, he loves Mason Kinsey. Got to meet the family today, so shout out again for Titan Rossi for getting on here, even though I know he was really tired. He's had a long day. But my point is this. These guys are all Titans. So we all root for them, you know? I'm never going to not – I want Mason to make it so bad that I would root for these other guys to fail. So Dez scoring that touchdown, I was like, heck yeah, good for him, because out of all the Titans players over the last week and a half, I mean, it's not as much as, you know, back in the day, you know, our former second-round draft pick who he drafted from Clemson, and they were mocking him every day, and then eventually they cut him, and that was it. I'm talking about Des Fitzpatrick this past week and a half, since Vrabel kind of called him out. Jim Wyatt's called him out. We've seen Paul Kaharski go after him and show his drops in practice now. They were all over him, so it was good to see him get some reps tonight, get a couple catches, but obviously get that touchdown. So we're proud of him, and hopefully he keeps it going. I propose that Upload Titan Anderson and Mr. Titan become the official player scouts for the Titans. Hey, it sounds good by me. I know it probably sounds really good by them guys as well. shout out again to those guys too. They do great work. Again, I shouted him out earlier. We were talking, Mr. Titan, having me on this morning. So I do appreciate that. And I do appreciate Titan Anderson sticking up for me and his show. I heard about that, so I gave him, just wanted to tell him thank you for that earlier on. But yeah, I mean, however we can help the Titans, we would love it, even though I'm sure they have way more experience than us. But sometimes, it's fans. It's fans, right, that pour their passion and heart and soul in this team. And sometimes you listen to these radio personalities, and yeah, they cover the Titans, but they don't like the Titans, and they're not Titan fans. There's just something different about all of us in here talking Titans. It just is. All right. Oh, he got cut already? I must have missed that. When did he get cut or released? Must have missed that. Did that happen last week? What's up with Nick Westbrook, Akina? Well, I totally forgot about him. He's another guy that's probably on that list. So they like him a lot. He started tonight. He got one pass thrown his way. He caught it across the middle. So that is an interesting point. I totally forgot about Nick Westbrook Akina. So yeah, if I go back, and then now it's even harder to state my case and to figure out who's making the team as the receivers. Because yeah, Mason Kinsey's doing a lot, but it's what's happening behind the lines here, behind the scenes. And we've heard that Nick Westbrook Akina, we know he's well liked by the Titans, but we've heard that, Rodgers has been doing well, and we've heard Marcus Johnson. But Marcus Johnson, I didn't see him out there. Trying to get back up here with Rossi. I think Molden is going to be our best rookie this year. And wow, we won BB15. And who else is the best barbecue in Tennessee? See, Eduardo, again, maybe people will get mad at me for this. I'm still trying to find. I know Martin's barbecue's not bad. We've went to Mission Barbecue before. I'm really not a huge fan of that. We got a barbecue place around our area. It's called Stone Jug. So shout out to Stone Jug if you want to sponsor the next video. But Stone Jug is like really good. And Stone Jug and that's Illinois, compared to Nashville. You think Nashville would destroy it. But if you guys got a great barbecue place when we go to the game against Colts, let me know and I'll check it out. So far, I've checked out, I think it's Martin's. They have like 4 different locations. We went to the one, I believe it was by Vanderbilt. And like I said, Mission Barbecue is more of they got one in Peoria, Illinois. So, it's more of a chain. But I'm talking, the hardcore good stuff. You let me know where it is. There's a place on Broadway I'd like to try. But other than that, let me know. I've not found it yet. The best barbecue says chill mode. Colts are good, but Wentz is a QB, is a downgrade over Rivers. Do you fear the Colts if Wentz? Tampa Kingdom, thank you. He says, do you fear the Colts if Wentz can stay healthy and can revert? I don't fear the Colts, but I'll tell you up front, the Colts are a darn good football team. And the Titans and the Colts will win the AFC South. It'll be one of them. I don't know which one. I'm going to go with the Titans. But yeah, the Colts are no joke. Their defense is legit. Their offense, wide receivers, a question for me. I know Colts fans will say that they got it all locked up with Pittman and that, and Campbell's coming back. I understand that, and Pascal and Hilton. But again, I think if you look and break down the Colts, their offensive line is it's really good, pretty much legit. Their defense is very, very good. It all comes down to the quarterback position. And if Carson Wentz 2017, the Colts are going to be really good. If we get the Carson Wentz from the last couple seasons, the Colts are going to struggle a little bit on offense. I'm sure the defense will carry them for the most part, and they'll win some games. But remember, last year, I make this point all the time. I'll make it one more time. Colts fans can get on me all they want, talk as much trash as they want, but they lost the division because they couldn't beat Jacksonville in week 1. Every game matters. There's 17 of them. Jacksonville won 1 game last year and literally cost the Colts the division. The Colts played the Bills really tough. They'll make that argument as well. we also played the Bills really, really tough, and we beat the Bills. So, again, I can't wait for the season, but it should come down the wire. I predict Titans-Colts split, and I believe that's going to be their only loss. I think Jaguars will be a little bit better. I'm not sure what we'll get in Houston. The whole thing going on with, just crazy with Watson. Jack's Barbecue, that's the one on Broadway. So you're saying that it's usually packed. Haven't been there, though. Every time we want to go, it's either, I think it closes early, too. Wait, you're going on Titans-Colts week 3? Because yes, I will be there, man. We'll have to meet up. For sure, LBM. For sure. All right, Gamers Unbox Funko. Huge fan of the Titan season ticket holder for 14 years. Last couple years, huge fan of Titan Upload. Do a great job for the real fans. Hey, shout out to you, and thanks so much for the comment. So my question to you is, when we getting the Game Pass code, man, for being season ticket holders? Still hasn't come. Dark Horse Super Bowl 56, Buccaneers versus Titans. Hey, I'm game if you're game, and I know you're already game, so let's go. I'd love it. And we already got the stages brewing with the 4 different fights the other day. It should be a lot of fun. Let's see. Chill mode. I know Bowen is the face of the defense, but don't forget Schwartz is in the background. That's a very good point. And you're right. How much has Schwartz already kind of helped out this team? And then Jonathan says Houston is going to run 11 running back man system. Yes, they got so many running backs. It's unbelievable. My son's a huge fan of video games, Roblox, Fortnite. How do I get him to love the Titans more? I've taken him to games in training camp. Well, I'll tell you what. My son's the same way. He loves football. He plays football. He's doing really good in football so far this year, so I'm super pumped to see him. He plays next Saturday for his first game. He's in 7th grade, so he's playing in 7th and 8th grade and all that stuff, whatever. But I'll tell you this. He's got a channel called Fortnite Upload, and he does Twitch, and then he'll play on the PlayStation occasionally, so maybe you'll see him there. But my point is this. You just got to continue to support your Titans, and eventually the more and more they win, the more and more they see you excited, they're going to want that excitement, and then they're in. Right? And then they're in. So trust me, don't be concerned just yet. Time will come. But yeah, keep inviting the games, because those are the memories he'll always remember. Let's be honest. Those are going to be the memories. And that's what it's all about. Who needs NFL Network ESPN when you have shows like this? Hey, thanks, Tiger 1000. I appreciate it. Let's see. Is it Redenvious Ribs in Memphis? Yes, if I can get to Memphis. Memphis, like, if I go to Memphis, I'll hang out with Titans and Truth. So I'll find him. But yeah, that's a good one. If I get to Memphis, I got to get to Memphis first is the question. Upload your opinion. Titans Weekly has an opinion. Okay, I like this one. Let's go with this. So Jonathan, upload your opinion. Titans Weekly opinion. Sports Fan Entertainment opinion. Others. But Rossi, bandwagon YouTube, trying to quit the day job, repeating what everyone else does. My opinion. Oh my goodness, Jonathan, what are you talking about? So here's the deal. Titans Rossi, if you're going out, if this shot's at Titans Rossi has been here from the beginning. Titans Rossi is a member of the Titan Upload Network. Titans Rossi has been doing things for the Titan Upload Network behind the scenes. Titan Rossi hasn't went out and officially started his YouTube until recently because he wasn't officially ready to go. He didn't want to be like some of these other guys who just get on here and talk about who knows what. He wanted to have a plan. He wanted to have a logo. He wanted to have a design format for his show. That's why he didn't go live until he got a certain amount of subscribers. That's why Titans Rossi is the man, and that's why I follow Titans Rossi. So you set me up beautifully. You gave me the nice little lob softball, and it was nice to just take a nice little swing. And I don't usually hit home runs, but that's a home run for Titan Rossi. Why? Because he's the man. So if you don't want to subscribe to him and follow him, that's fine. He's definitely not a bandwagon, and he's been a part of, like I said, the Titans for a very, very long time. And like I said, I can contest to him. Everybody in this house loves Titans Rossi. So yeah, there it is. Okay? Anyways, Eduardo, stop the hate people. No worries. I got my guys back. I got Rossi's back. You ain't coming on here and dissing Rossi. It ain't happening. All right. Meredith says Mason Kinsey. I mean, let's just hope this thing keeps going on because like I've said, and I'm super pumped about, Titan Bay knows what's up. But what I'm super pumped about for Kinsey and some of these other Titans, it doesn't really matter what the Titans do at this point. Titans can release him. It is what it is. Because Mason Kinsey is going to be getting a phone call, and he's going to be playing on Sundays. That guy is going to continue the dream. He's going to continue God's plan, and that is the man too. I love Mason Kinsey, and I wish him nothing but the best. But like I said, I am super confident that whether he makes the Titans, he'll be making another club. And guess what? All he's got to do is get that call. All he's got to do is just say, hey, accept, and off he goes. I could see Atlanta being a decent chance. Yo, Upload, you should try Burger Republic if you're in Nashville. I will write that down. I've never been there. What's it like? Is it like Five Guys? Is it more like In-N-Out? Yeah, what do you think? How do you feel about Kyle Trask? He's going to have a tough time making that roster now. I mean, if you're just asking the eye test, I didn't see a lot of it tonight. Maybe you could argue the Titans defense was just so electric tonight. It was tough for any of them. I mean, if I look at the stats and just kind of go back by memory, you know, I know what we got in your first quarterback, right? Your second quarterback, I mean, 4 for 8, I believe his stat line was. Trask got a little bit more opportunity. I know he didn't really come through as much as, you know, Gabbert, for example. Like Gabbert had 30-some yards, but he wasn't really out there that long. I just don't know if he passes the eye test to me. Then I'm just being honest. But he was worth a chance, and he's worth the developmental progress in it. I wouldn't just throw him to the wolves by any means. I mean, one performance shouldn't define your whole NFL career. He's coming from Florida. I'd give him some opportunities, but I'll just say up front, at this moment in time, like you could say the same thing about Caleb Farley you're not impressed with. I wasn't super impressed with Trask either. Do you believe the next 2 years Caleb Farley will be the top 5? I think Caleb Farley will be our top corner by the end of the year, but I think Caleb Farley will be elite at some point in his career. He's got explosive speed. He's got size. He's got determination. He's got the heart. He hasn't played since 2019. He's been hurt. The whole back thing going on. We knew that going in. That's why he fell to us in, pick 21 or 22 or whenever we picked him. I think it was 22 roughly. I'm going to be patient with Caleb Farley. I mentioned week 8 is going to be my measuring stick. We get to week 8 and he's hardly playing. He's not showing any. And then I'm going to be a little more concerned. But I think by week 8, he'll definitely be starting and he'll be trending up. And then by the end of the year, I think he's going to be one of our lockdown corners. Key situations. So both of them will be great. Cody agreed. Tighten up. Great show. And like I said, you guys are awesome. Thanks for everyone that super chatted tonight. We'll kind of just start a new tradition. We'll just do super chats to end the show. We had one from Braden Ray. Tighten up to you. Danian Bennett. Tighten up. And is it Giga or Giga Gamers? Tighten up. Thank you so much for your kindly donations. As always, you're awesome. Expect us to do a little bit more this week. Now that we've been officially back to work for a week, more Titans is the better thing for us to talk about throughout the week. And there's nothing better, I should say, than talking Titans. And then next Saturday night, watch party, Bears, Titans. And hopefully by then we'll at least get the phone lines going because we did figure that out. Yes, we figured it out. And we'll have multiple people calling in, and you won't get the busy signal, I promise. And you won't have to call back. And we'll put you in a different room. And when we're ready to talk, we'll bring you on the show. So can't wait for that for next week's post game as we give it a try. So again, you guys are awesome. Tighten up. Take care, guys. Titans win 34-3. Mason Kinsey, touchdown, 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 touchdown. Take care, guys. Encore, got to come back. Super chat time from Charles. I didn't want to leave Charles hanging, so tighten up, Charles. I just had to come back for you, man. But thank you. Now I'm out. Take care, guys.